Good morning, everybody. Dear students, today we will discuss about the gender inclusion in education. The objective of this class is to state the concept of gender inclusion in education, trace out the example of gender inequality in the classroom, explain the ways of gender inclusion in formal and informal education. During this session, we will concentrate on the following content. First, we'll discuss about the concept of inclusion, principle of inclusive education, gender inclusion in education, gender issues in school, gender issues at family and neighborhood, and the ways of making gender inclusive education and the learning activities. Now, uh, now we are going to recapitulate the concept of inclusion. Generally, the concept of inclusion is given differently in different contexts, and the definition of inclusion can we can um, find in various ways. Here, uh, we will discuss about the general and wide definition of inclusion. Here, inclusion is a term used to describe and promote policies, strategies, practice which aim to enable all learners to participate fully in education. It means inclusion is focusing on the policies, strategies, and practices. These three things. The focus of inclusion is in three things: to make the inclusive through policies, to make the education inclusive through strategies, to make the education inclusive through practices. This definition or this concept is focusing the three major aspects. Similarly, the inclusion is focusing to ensure the right of people in terms of gender, basically in terms of gender. Uh, in the sense of the class, in the case of a different classroom, we can find the diversities in terms of gender, caste, race, learning difficulties, religious belief, geographical essays, and even in psychology. However, here we will focus on the um, um, inclusion, inclusion on the basis of gender. Now, we concern on the understanding of the concept of gender. Gender is a term used to differentiate male and female. Before understanding the concept of gender, we need to be clear about the concept of sex. Gender is different from sex. There is the two major terms, gender and sex. Gender is different from sex. Gender is a term to differentiate male and female, resulting from socially and culturally defined and assigned roles. This means in different society or in different families, the role of boys and girls, role of males and females are defined differently. Uh, the defined rule discriminate and determine the rule differently in the case of male and female. Gender is different from sex. However, sex refers to the biological characteristics by which human beings are characterized as male and female. By birth, we can find the male child or female, or the boys or girls. That is, difference by individual is differentiated by the sex. That is sex. But gender refers to the social and psychosocial attributes by which human beings are categorized as masculine and feminine. Every society define the role of individual as male and female. There is a different role of male or boys or different role of female or girls. The socially defined role determine their social role, their psychological attributes, their activities in society, their doing, their ways of learning, their perspective of seeing. Therefore, society determine all these things. However, sex is male and female, which is given by birth, differences given by birth. Now, we'll concern on the gender inclusion in education. Gender inclusion is a process of engaging boys and girls equally in learning activities. In a school or college classroom, boys and girls are participated in the learning activities. However, their engagement is different. The engagement is influenced by their gender situation, socially defined situation, culturally defined situation. Here is the gender defined situation is more important. Therefore, gender inclusion focus to engage boys and girls equal in learning activities that ensure the justice for learning, that help them experience diverse value, both girls and boys equally experience the diverse value, equally um, equally practice the learning situation, equally get the opportunities of learning and choose freely the learning opportunities, sharing the ideas from collaboration. They both need to share their ideas and they both need to learn in collaboration and get benefited from the physical facility compatible with their abilities. Now, in case of education, there are different gender issues. Here are some gender issues. There are so many issues. Here are some only. These are the only some issues. Therefore, we can explore the some more issues observing these issues. First is participation in curricular and extracurricular activities. First issue in education, first gender issue in education is the participation of girls and boys in curricular means classroom activities and extracurricular activities. The participation of boys and girls. We can found the different participation of boys and girls. Therefore, we need to ensure their participation equally is their capacity. Second issue is related to interaction between student and teacher in and out of the class. Another issue is related to the interaction between student and teacher within the class and out of the class. Student and teacher always interaction in different ways, but the interaction situation and ways of interaction, perceiving the interaction is influenced by the gender perspectives. Therefore, interaction is another major issue in education. During the interaction, we need to ensure, we must ensure the justice through the interaction to girls and boys equally. Teacher treatment toward the students in the classroom. Teacher need to treat equally. However, we can find in different situations the treatment of teacher is different in terms of boys and girls, in terms of their responses in the assignment, in terms of their responses in the classroom activity, in terms of their responses in the evaluation and achievement. Therefore, another issue is teacher treatment toward the student activities. Another issue is use and availability of resources and facilities. uh, in many situations, we can find the differences in the use of resources by girls students and boys students. Therefore, use of availability is another issues in education, gender issues in education. Respect and valuing the work and achievement. Respect and valuing the work and achievement. Uh, Next issue in gender education, gender inclusion is respect and valuing the work and achievement. Student, when we give the tax to the students, girl students and boy students, they will tax, they will do tax, but uh, during their assessment, during their praising, there may be differences in the valuing of their work, of their tax, of their assessment. Therefore, gender valuing the work and achievement is another important issue in inclusion. Now, similarly, we can find some gender issues at home or family or neighborhood. These issues arise from the gender differences and the treatment by the family member in the home and society member in the neighborhood. Issue related to equal opportunity of education at home. First is uh, issue related to the providing their equal opportunity at learning, at investing the time in education, or equal opportunity at the neighborhood. First issue, if family provide equal opportunity for girls and boys, there is no differences. However, if there may be differences in opportunities in the family, that is family related or home related issues. Similarly, fair treatment to boys and girls irrespective of social and culturally assigned roles, particularly in family and society, there are the different roles of boys and girls. These rules of boys and girls determine the activities, determine the perspective of society towards boys and girls. Therefore, this issue is another uh, aspect of gender issues at home. Similarly, providing equal opportunity of participation in school activities. Equal opportunity of participation in school activities. While during off time, children will be at home, but they do not invest equally for homework or for other activities related to education. Therefore, another issue is issues of opportunities of participation at a school or at home. Similarly, develop sense of equal economic right, opportunities, and responsibility. Another issue is equal right to boys and girls, equal opportunity to boys and girls, and equal responsibility to boys and girls. Similarly, equitable treatment and at home, peer groups, society respected to their physical differences. In this way, These are the some issues at home and neighborhood. You can explore, you can find some other other issues related to inclusion that are influenced by the home and society. Now, dear student, please pause the video and do the following activities. First, discuss about gender issues in education in your group. In your group, in your context, first discuss the issues of gender. What issues are available in your context? List them and present the ways of addressing these issues. Second, explore the ways of addressing these issues in education. First, find the issues. First, discuss about the gender issues in your context and list some gender issues. And second, derive the ways of addressing these issues in education. Now, uh, now we'll discuss about the ways of making gender inclusive education. We have already discussed about the concept of gender. We have already focused three major terminology: policies, strategies, and practice that are focusing on the gender inclusion. Now, we are searching gender inclusive education. Uh, how to make gender inclusive? First, we can make the gender inclusive education. We can ensure the inclusion in education uh, by formulating the policies and legislative provision. Formulating the policies, education policies, and other policies, and making the legislative provision to gender sensitivity, addressing the gender sensitivity. First, we need to make policies and legislative provision that address gender sensitivity. Second, gender sensitivity in textbook. We give the same textbook to boys and girls, but there are different different type of writing, different figure, different example that touch the sensitivity of, in terms of gender. Therefore, we may address the sensitivity in textbook. Similarly, we can find the gender issues in curriculum, gender issues, teaching learning materials. We need to address these curriculum related issues and material issues. Next, another issue is conducting awareness activities to promote gender inclusion. To ensure the gender inclusive in education, we can conduct awareness activities to promote gender inclusion. That is, that awareness program may reduce the gender discrimination in terms of learning, thinking, activities, and doing. Next is addressing multicultural dimension from gender perspective. Multicultural dimension from gender perspective. Here, multiculturalism refers to the respecting different culture or respecting pluralism in the learning and education. Therefore, multicultural dimension refers to the addressing the multiculturalism in the content addressing the knowledge in the classroom or learning, addressing the prejudice issue, empowering the girls and boys equally, and empowering the society through the gender, addressing the gender issues. We can be careful about the multicultural dimension from gender perspective. Developing gender sensitivity learning environment at a school. Another way is developing the gender sensitivity learning environment. That is, the environment ensure learning of boys and girls equally with justice at a school. That is, there is no bias in terms of gender. Creating motivation and reducing psychological fear. Another way is creating motivation and reducing psychological fear. If there is fear in the mind of girls, we can reduce this fear. If there is fear in the mind of boys, we must reduce this fear. That is, we must reduce the fear in terms of genders. Now, the students, here is a link. You can use the video, watch the video related to inclusion in the given link below, and note main tasks promoting the inclusion. Watch the video using this link and note main tasks using this video. And finally, you have to do activity 3, third activity, that is homework. Find the gender discriminated activities. Example, tasks in first, you discuss with your peers, you discuss with your friends, and list the gender discriminated activities. Example, tasks in your textbook. Any textbook. You are reading some textbook, find the gender discriminated activity and list them. Activity, gender, similarly, list the gender discriminatory activity in the classroom. Similarly, gender discriminative activity among the student during the interaction. Similarly, gender discriminative activities, activities related to teacher and staffs, focusing the responses during the classroom and out of the classroom. Similarly, assessment, gender discriminatory activity in assessment and evaluation. List all the activities and present in the classroom. Thank you. If you have any query, ask the question in the classroom and discuss in your group, or ask with your teacher.